The best guide for the best breaker in the game, Qingyi, guys. She's finally back on the banner for a rerun. You probably just pulled her and now you want to know how to build her. And I probably pulled her as well because I was a dumbass and didn't pull her the first time around. So I have had to gather my own resources. I've had to gather my own thoughts on this to make the best possible build for, first of all, myself and for you guys as well. So guys, without further ado, let's just go ahead and hop into the best breaker in the game because I do believe that Qingyi is the best breaker in the game. So to quickly break down how Qingyi is going to be working, guys, is like I mentioned before, she's a breaker. And the way she breaks is she's more of an on-field breaker. She's not like a bursty type breaker like I would say Coleta is, or even like I would say Lighter is. I would consider both of those guys very bursty type breakers. You come onto the field for a couple seconds, and then you pop them off, switch to your other DPS to do consistent damage. Whereas Qingyi here will help out for a consistent amount of breaking, doesn't really do too much damage, but will really help you break the enemy down. So your characters like Zhu Yan, so your characters like Harumasa can really build up that additional damage when the enemy is broken down because that's how their kits work. So she does stay on the field for a lot longer, and you'll see this based off how her kit works. Because your basic attacks will be giving you charge of her flash connect voltage, and whenever this reaches 75%, you can use an enhanced basic attack on the enemy, which will then consume all this voltage and then pour that percentage into a percentage of her damage and days she's going to be doing to the enemy from her enhanced Moonlight Blossoms attack. And this Moonlight Blossom attack plays directly into what the core passive is going to do, because what the core passive is going to do is not only is it giving you additional impact, which she needs a lot of, it's also going to be making that enhanced basic attack, the Enchanted Moonlight Blossom, apply 5 stacks of subjugation to the enemy. This can stack up to 20 times. Basically, for every one of these stacks that you have on the enemy, you'll be increasing the target stun damage multiplier by 4%, which means whenever the enemy is broken down, you'll be adding 80% extra damage to that damage multiplier when the enemy is actually stunned. This won't just stop there, guys, because she's also really strong with her additional ability as well, because what this additional ability we'll be doing, guys, is first of all, it plays off of having one attack type character or someone from the same faction on your team. So overall, the activation requirements for this is actually very easy to get, and then on top of that, guys, this will be increasing the days she does from her basic attacks, and whenever her impact is greater than 120, it'll be increasing her own attack, meaning she's able to deal more damage based off the amount of impact she has. You want to be building into impact so you break the enemies down faster. So this means she acts as a sort of pseudo sub DPS. I wouldn't say she's on the full level of a sub DPS because I don't think her damage really hits that, but overall she'll basically help you deal some damage to the enemy while you're breaking them down to do your big damage with your Zhuyans, Harumasas, Anbis, Evelyn's, whoever the case might be there. Her skill and the X skill move will also both be helping with both the damage she does and the impact she's doing on the enemy as well. You'll be basically launching into the air, doing a lot of hits on the enemy, then doing a downward slash here. Then you can hold that special attack button down more and do more attacks on the enemy, which overall leads to more damage and more stun on the enemy. And then finally, guys, her chain and ultimate attack. The chain attack will basically be doing additional damage based off the amount of subjugation stacks you have on the enemy. So this means if the chain attack is hitting, you have max subjugation stacks, you're getting additional damage just from activating this chain attack. And also what makes Qingyi that much stronger as well is with the addition of having 3 ults now in the game, this gives her an opportunity now to actually utilize her ultimate move and break the enemy down that much faster and that much more consistently. That's really all that I have to mention on the kit right now, guys. Like I said, and you've heard here, she works in a lot of scenarios. She is like an on-field breaker. She is a main breaker, if you will. She's not like a sub breaker, so that is her main goal, is to be on the field. And while we're talking about that, let's go ahead and talk about teams now, right? Because with her being a main breaker, you really want to be utilizing her with allies that maybe do more damage to stunned enemies, like I mentioned before, Zhu Yan and Harumasa. Now, that's not to say that she cannot be used with any other DPS in the game, because I do believe that she can be used with just about any other DPS in the game, especially attackers, because attackers do activate her additional ability. So you also could throw in her team with like Jane Doe, and you could also throw in her team with Seth as well if you wanted to do that with a full electric team, if you will. But overall, guys, like I mentioned, her 2 main matchups are Harumasa and Zhu Yan. Now, both these teams actually do work quite the same, right? Zhu Yan gets a lot of her damage from off-field. Like, literally, both of these characters here get increased damage while being off the field. Now, the Zhu Yan team, I would say, is a bit more constrictive than what the Harumasa team is. And with saying that, Harumasa also does have other support options, if you will, because his support options here will be someone like a Bernice, Grace, Rena, Astrial, really anyone that can help electrical damage, anyone that can help with disorders, because the more disorders and the more anomaly procs you get off on the enemy, the more of his little prison things he puts down the ground, which leads to more overall damage whenever you finally break the enemy. You just kind of want a sub DPS in that role to get extra traps down on the field. Whereas Zhu Yan, on the other hand, your main goal with her is literally break the enemy shield and just blast your full shotgun shells into the enemy. So characters like Astrial and Nicole do work both very hand in hand together here. Defense shred from Nicole, and then massive buffs from Astrial here. So I really don't think you can go wrong with either team you'd want to run here. Those are the teams that I recommend, but like I said, she can be ran technically on any team, but you mainly want to run her with an attacker type character. So if you pulled someone like Ellen Jo last patch, she would also work there too. Evelyn is going to work there. Silver Soldier Ambi, gonna work there too. So now with that out of the way, let's go ahead and hop into the parts of the video you probably actually want to fucking hear, right? What are the best W engines you can use on her? Starting off at number 1, guys, obviously her signature W engine is going to be her best W engine you can run her on. This basically plays hand in hand with how she actually works, right? First of all, you're getting a base impact increase. Secondly, guys, whenever base attacks are hitting the enemy, you get 1 stack of Terrific. This is also going to be increasing the user's impact, and you can stack this up to 30 different times. And not only this, guys, you're also going to be giving all of your squad members a damage bonus as well. So you cannot go wrong with this W engine, but that does require you actually pulling. Other options you can use here, you could use the Restrained, you could use Hellfire Gears. Both of these W engine options can work. You can get and use both of these W engines here too, but on to the most free-to-play option and one of my favorite free-to-play options of the game, and that's going to be Steam Oven. Now, Steam Oven is going to be really good for the fact that, first of all, guys, it's going to be giving you increased impact for the amount of energy you're accumulating. And with her being on the field so often, getting energy with her is not really that big of an issue. This also gives you increased energy regen as well. It can give you a pretty hefty impact bonus with this. So all in all, I do think this is the best free-to-play option you can go with here. Not to say that the other options won't work. Like, you could use Fossilized Core, you could use 6-shooter here. Both of those options can work. Do I really recommend those options? I mean, if you have Steam Oven, why not just use Steam Oven? It's free. You can craft it right now. Go to the shop, craft this thing, get an S5. Literally, almost any one of your breakers in the game will use this W engine pretty good. So, I mean, build this W engine. I think it's a good option to build for you. Now, let's go ahead and get into those disk drive stats, everything like that. But wait, pause. Stop right there. Now, you probably got to this section of the video, maybe by clicking a timestamp, or maybe you watched this point in the video. Either or, you got scammed, or you are enjoying the video that fucking much. No, you're fucking not. But if you are, hit that subscribe button. I really, really appreciate it. We're trying to hit 10K by the end of the year. If we do, we're doing one massive giveaway. So let's hope we hit that on a good character, right? But anyways, guys, let's get back to those stinky little disk drives now. For the best 4-piece set, guys, 4-piece Shockstar Disco, because she is the main breaker. She's on the field so much. You can utilize the 4-piece of this very well, because first of all, on a 2-piece, it's increasing your impact by 6%. Whoop-de-doo, you would run a 2-piece regardless of what you run here, right? A 4-piece, though, you'll be increasing your basic attacks, dash attacks, and dodge counters days by 20%. So overall, all in all, this is going to be the hands-down best in-slot 4-piece you can run under. And then you'd run this with a swing jazz to get her extra energy regen, so she's getting her energy back up that much faster. If you're using the free-to-play W engine, this means the more energy you get faster, the more impact she has, which means the more overall or faster you're breaking the enemy overall, right? That's how do you say that properly, right? But I do want to offer you one other option you can run, especially for how good this set can be, and you can just throw this on her and it'll still work in just about any team, which is going to be a 4-piece Astral Voice with a 2-piece Shockstar Disco. The reason why I recommend Shockstar Disco, obviously you get the increased impact, you want as much impact as possible, but the 4-piece Astral Voice is a very special set here, because first of all, it'll be giving you an increase of 10% attack, which, okay, she really doesn't need much of that, but the big thing here, guys, is whenever you're quick assisting with your allies, you get 1 stack of Astral Voice. This can stack up to 3 times, and this can give you an absolutely massive up to 24% damage bonus for the whole team. So if you were to put this on someone like, let's say, your Qingyi, right, and then you were to have like maybe an Astrayao on the team, and you were to run a separate set on her, like maybe something with extra energy regen to keep her energy up faster, or really energy regen sets on any of your other supports on the team, right, this is going to help that character out a lot, because then they can battery your team up more while she's still doing her job of dishing out a lot of impact on the enemy and breaking the enemy shield down faster. You're getting a free additional 24% damage there while keeping their buff uptime up more. Also, one other point here why I think Astral Voice is so good is because if you look at her best in-slot teams, guys, a lot of them do play with Astrayao, right? And Astrayao does emphasize quick swaps a lot, or if you're running Zhuyan here, you're emphasizing quick swaps a lot with, like, Nicole on the team here. So, I mean, like, I think just about any scenario you run her in, this could be a really good option. But now, let's go ahead and hop into those best sub-main stats and recommended stats, like the actual stats you want to be hitting. So on the 4 disc, guys, you're going to be wanting to run crit rate or crit damage, because you can't really get anything that has to do with impact here, or really to help her breaking out at all. For the 5 piece, it's going to be electro damage percentage, and on the 6 piece, it's going to be impact. Now, like I said, impact is a super important stat for you. You want to be making sure you get as much of this as possible, because impact directly affects how fast you're breaking the enemy. So make sure you're getting impact. That's going to be absolutely essential. As far as those substats go, guys, you don't have any impact substats here, so just aim for any damaging stat you can get. Crit rate, crit damage, attack percentage, pin or attack, like literally anything that helps her do damage while she's on the field, because she will be being on the field so much. You do want to make sure that she's maximizing the amount of damage you can use with her. In terms of impact, guys, you want to be hitting around 169 impact here, and that's really the only thing that I can recommend, guys. If you get past this, everything else here on this page will be optional. Like the attack, crit rate, crit damage here is all going to be optional. You don't have to get this. This just leads to more damage, which leads to faster clear times potentially, because she does deal a little bit more damage because she's on the field so much, but you don't have to get this. I only recommend getting at least 169 impact. So with that being said, guys, that's really all that I have to say in today's video. How are you enjoying your Qingyi thus far? Is she making your game that much easier already for you, or is she not? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoy videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. And that's going to do it, guys. So see you later. Bye-bye. Have a good one.